Hello friends, my name is Ryan. I'm going to tell you a story named From Homeless to Harvard, Liz Murray's unbelievable transformation, which is a very amazing story full of twists. So let's start. Life has a strange way of testing us, doesn't it? Sometimes, it seems like everything is stacked against us. But what if I told you about someone who took the darkest days of their life and turned them into something extraordinary? This is the story of Liz Murray, a girl who had every reason to give up but chose not to. Liz grew up in the Bronx, New York, in a world where hope seemed like a foreign concept. Her parents were deeply in love but also deeply addicted to drugs. They spent most of their days chasing the next high, leaving Liz and her older sister, Lisa, to fend for themselves. Their apartment was a disaster, cluttered, cold, and filled with the constant hum of despair. Food was a luxury, and school was a distant thought. Despite this, Liz was a curious child. She would sit by the window at night, staring at the stars, wondering if life could ever be different. But the reality of her situation always pulled her back. Her parents' addiction grew worse, and soon, her mother was diagnosed with AIDS. The disease began to ravage her body, and Liz was forced to watch as the one person who had shown her unconditional love slowly faded away. By the time Liz was 15, her mother had passed away, and her father was living in a homeless shelter. With nowhere to go, Liz found herself on the streets. She slept on park benches, subway trains, and friends' couches when she could. Hunger became her constant companion, and the cold New York winters were relentless. But here's where the twist begins. Most people in Liz's position would have succumbed to the weight of their circumstances. But not Liz. One night, as she sat on the steps of a library to escape the chill, she overheard a conversation between two students. They were talking about their dreams of going to college, about the possibilities that lay ahead. For Liz, it was like a light bulb had gone off in her mind. She realized that education could be her way out, her ticket to a better life. Liz didn't have a home, let alone a school to call her own. But she had determination. She enrolled in an alternative high school for at-risk youth. With no money for books or supplies, she borrowed what she could and relied on public resources. She studied in subway stations, read by the dim light of street lamps, and used her hunger as fuel to keep going. While other students worried about prom and exams, Liz was focused on survival and her dreams. Her teachers noticed her drive and began to support her in every way they could. One teacher, in particular, Mr. Riley, saw her potential and encouraged her to aim high. "Why not Harvard?" he asked one day, almost casually. Liz laughed at first. Harvard was a place for the elite, the privileged. But the seed was planted. Over the next few months, Liz worked harder than ever. She wrote essays about her life, about the struggles she had faced and the lessons she had learned. Her story was raw, powerful, and unforgettable. She applied to Harvard, not really believing she'd get in. But sometimes, life surprises you. One crisp autumn morning, Liz opened her mailbox to find a thick envelope with the Harvard crest on it. Her hands trembled as she tore it open. She had been accepted. Liz Murray, the homeless girl from the Bronx, was going to Harvard. The journey to Harvard was only the beginning. Liz thrived at the university, soaking up knowledge and experiences she had never dreamed possible. But she never forgot where she came from. She began sharing her story, inspiring others to overcome their struggles and chase their dreams. But let's take a step back to understand the sheer resilience Liz showed during her journey. Life on the streets was not just about finding a place to sleep. It was about survival in every sense of the word. Liz faced dangers that most of us could never imagine. There were nights when she felt the weight of loneliness pressing down on her, when the world seemed indifferent to her existence. Yet, she never let despair take over. One particular incident stands out. Liz had managed to scrape together a few dollars and decided to treat herself to a hot meal. As she sat in a small diner, savoring every bite, she overheard a group of people at the next table discussing a charity event for homeless youth. Mustering all her courage, Liz approached them and introduced herself. She shared a bit of her story, and to her surprise, one of the women handed her a business card. "Come see me at my office," she said. I might be able to help. That chance encounter led Liz to a network of people who were willing to support her. They helped her with clothes, books, and sometimes just a warm smile. It was a reminder that even in the darkest times, kindness could be found. At school, Liz became known as the girl who never gave up. She didn't just excel academically, she inspired her peers. Her story spread, and soon, local newspapers were writing about her. But fame was never Liz's goal. She remained focused on her mission, to build a life that honored her mother's memory and proved that circumstances do not define destiny. When Liz finally set foot on Harvard's campus, it was a moment she would never forget. The towering buildings, the historic halls, and the vibrant energy of the students all seemed like a world away from the Bronx. Yet, Liz felt she belonged. She threw herself into her studies, exploring subjects she had only dreamed of. Philosophy, literature, psychology, every class was a new adventure. But even at Harvard, life wasn't without challenges. Liz often felt like an outsider. Her classmates talked about summer vacations in Europe and family gatherings in sprawling mansions. Liz, on the other hand, had memories of cold nights on park benches and the ache of hunger. Yet, she never let these differences deter her. Instead, she used them as fuel to keep pushing forward. During her second year, Liz faced a financial crisis. Despite scholarships and part-time jobs, she was struggling to make ends meet. She considered dropping out, but then she remembered her mother's words, "Never stop fighting for what you believe in." With renewed determination, Liz reached out to her professors and mentors for help. They rallied around her, proving once again that she was not alone in her journey. As graduation approached, Liz reflected on how far she had come. The girl who once had nothing was now a Harvard graduate. But Liz's story doesn't end there. She decided to dedicate her life to helping others who faced the same struggles she had overcome. She wrote a memoir, became a motivational speaker, and founded an organization to support homeless youth. Liz's journey is a testament to the power of resilience, hope, and the human spirit. It's a story that reminds us that no matter how dark the night, the dawn is always just around the corner. So, my friends, what do we learn from Liz's story? We learn that our circumstances do not define us. It's our choices, our determination, and our willingness to dream that shape our destiny. Liz turned her pain into power, her struggles into strength. And if she can do it, so can you. If this story touched your heart and inspired you, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more such incredible tales. Remember, every story has the power to change lives, just like Liz Murray's. Thank you for listening, and until next time, keep dreaming big.